When it comes to pricing weddings, do you have basic packages, or do you do a la carte, or a combination of both?
Actually, it's a la carte pricing, and we just have basically minimums. My minimum is anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000.
To have you personally shoot it.
And then the associate guys will start from $2,000 to $3,000.
Okay, so you'll sell a wedding that one of your under photographers will go ahead and photograph.
Right.
They know that ahead of time.
Right.
Do they meet the photographer?
Not normally.
No.
No. I will do the final detail with them.
Mm-hmm.
I will make sure that everything that they want is taken. So the reason why I did that was because I didn't want the photographer and the bride to do the final detail, is because I don't want to be the middleman. I don't want to be the person going like, well, the photographer said he would do that. And the bride goes, no, and the photographer would say, no, he didn't say that they wanted that.
Right.
If I do the final detail and I plan everything, that way I can say, well, you're supposed to do this, this, and this. And that way I'm the person that goes, you didn't tell us that, or the photographer, why didn't you get that?
And that probably smooths out most of the bumps.
Most of the bumps, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And then what we'll do is the better planned the wedding is, the smoother the day is going to go, and the better images we're going to be able to get. We know exactly when sunset's going to be, so a lot of this wedding photos, we'll go ahead and get the sunset type photos because we know exactly where we have to be at what time. And so we'll plan it, and if there's any chance that we can get it, we'll find out if they're interested in it, and we'll make sure that we're there.
And of course, you can plan things because you're in Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
You have 7 days a year that it rains. The rest is just fine.
Doesn't happen that way in the rest of the country.
Duluth, Minnesota, a little bit different. Yeah. When we're going to shoot a wedding yourself, mm-hmm. and it's within an hour drive, let's say. How much time do you put into it physically? What time do you start? What time do you finish? Do you go the whole length?
I usually go the whole length.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a 10, 12-hour day.
Will you bring a second photographer to help out?
Always.
Always.
Yeah. Every wedding that we send out, there's 2 people going out. The one is one just to make sure that the equipment doesn't walk away. So we got another set of eyes there to make sure equipment doesn't, because it is a problem now.
Yeah, it is.
And
in the bigger cities.
Yep. And so we carry 2 cameras on us. We have the assistant carrying a camera, and so there's not a whole lot in that spare case now.
Mm-hmm. So if we're talking about one of the weddings that you go shoot, a marquee wedding, beautiful location, easy to work with bride and groom. This is going to be a marquee Joey Ikemoto wedding. You've got, let's say, 12 hours worth of shooting time that day, a couple extra people with you too. How much prep time before, meeting with the bride and groom, getting your equipment ready, do you have to add on to that 12 hours?
Not a whole lot of time. My assistant is the one who will get there half an hour before our meet time, before we're supposed to take off. We'll get all the equipment together, and we're out the door. I will do the final detail appointment with them 3 months before the wedding. It takes about an hour to do. Mm-hmm. And I'll sit down, and every 15 minutes they will know exactly what pictures we're going to take at what time. We have them sign off saying that if they're late, we're not responsible for any missed photographs, but if they're late, we're still going to try to get everything that we can.
Back up.
But absolutely.
And I know in the studio you are a JPEG type of shooter, because you don't want to mess with the extra time that it takes for RAW. Weddings, sometimes that's not possible to shoot JPEGs all day. What percentage do you shoot JPEG versus what percentage you shoot RAW on a wedding?
On a wedding, we shoot 100% RAW.
All RAW?
All RAW, absolutely.
So processing time on the amount of images that you shoot. By the way, how many images would you shoot on a typical big wedding that you shoot?
On any of the guys, all the weddings that we shoot are big.
Yeah.
So anywhere from 25 to 3,000 images on a day.
That's a lot of raw processing.
We shoot a lot of raw processing.
So
but we're using the Canon software, the raw processor, and it actually is very, very quick.
Yes.
It is a very fast program. The color balance, that's why we use the Canon Mark IIs, Mark IIIs. Color accuracy is very, very good. Good enough for most of the proofing. So we only hit maybe 10% of the images. We do not color correct every single one of those images. We're going to fly through those things. It usually takes the guy about an hour, hour and a half to do the color correcting, and then we'll set it to convert overnight and come back,
off it goes.
And then off it goes. The biggest thing is editing.
Right.
Editing is probably it's not the color balance, it's the editing.
So if you shoot 3,000 images, let's say, on a wedding, you're going to rough edit real quick and knock those down to how many that you're going to show the bride and groom?
We'll show them about 1,000 images.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to show them a lot of images still.
And then once they see those proofed images, you're going to go back and then really finally color correct those, get them where you need to.
Right.
Also using the Canon DPP software?
Actually, after we get it close enough in the Canon software and they place the order, we'll take it straight into Photoshop. And then we'll make our correction in Photoshop and then print. If the image is, usually it's not, but if we have to, we have a, the way we number it, we can actually go back to the RAW file, reconvert again if we need to.
Wow, so you shoot the wedding in RAW. You will process through the Canon DPP, Digital Photo Professional's RAW processor. Excellent choice, super great quality.
Right.
Let it process overnight. You've got thousands of images the next day. Whatever color correcting you need to do before you actually print the album, you're just going to take off that JPEG and work in Photoshop, and out it goes.
Correct.
Rarely do you have to go back to the RAW file because of an extreme exposure, contrast, or color adjustment.
Correct.
That is very impressive too. So you've got not only your JPEG Studio workflow figured out, but you've got your RAW workflow figured out for location work too.
Try to.
Yeah. Try to. Yeah, we'll put that asterisk on the end of that. Yeah.